Yo, we're back with another episode of the Feel Free podcast. I'm your host, Jon Cerone. This week, I got my buddy Mike here, also known as Kwaj, rapper from Lansing in Michigan, here to interview me, ask me some questions about addiction, recovery. We both talk about our stories after leaving Grand Rapids or Grand Valley State in 2016 and 2017. Where we met up to chill and talk about, our dreams with music and stuff like that. So the conversation is pretty much us just catching up while just talking about life in general. It's a pretty laid back conversation. You don't want to miss it though. It's always a good one. And next week I got my buddy Brandon back on the podcast. He'll actually be here visiting, so we'll be doing the podcast in person. You don't want to miss that. It's going to be another good episode. So, without further ado, let's get into the episode.
We could just start with that, man. So, did you move to Chicago right after school?
Bruh, I didn't even graduate from Grand Valley.
Oh, I didn't even know that, bruh.
Yeah, dude. So wait, when we were chilling, it was 2016.
Ish.
Yeah, it was 2016. At the business college. I moved out to the east side of GR after we were done with that school year, and I was living with a buddy and shit. Yeah, I didn't finish. So that next year I actually started drinking a lot and just went full-blown alcoholic, and yeah, I failed out in 2017 in that fall semester of 2017, and then I moved back to Chicago.
I mean, you could all say it worked out, right?
Yeah, it did. I needed a support group back home, which is odd because my support group back here, everyone still uses, or my homie, as you drink, it's all good. All my homies still drink and smoke, my family members too. But everyone believed in me to be better. Everyone believed in me to get sober. Nobody ever forced anything on me or told me I needed to drink or smoke or anything. When I said I wanted to get sober, everyone was super supportive of it.
Imagine how friend you'd have to be like, nah, man, I'm not cool with that.
That's what I'm saying. I just don't associate with people like that. I don't think I had anybody that I had to really cut out like that though. I was just very blessed to have a lot of good people in my life, and I didn't even get sober until 2019. So between 2017 and 2019, I was just, drinking a lot, blowing a lot of cocaine, in and out of community college and shit. I wasn't doing shit, man. I couldn't figure it out,
You were working?
Yeah, I was working, but it's working and blowing the money, so it's whatever.
Yeah, so basically you're not working if you're blowing the money.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah. I mean, and the whole time too, I was still telling myself I'm going to be a rapper. I'm going to put out this music, and I never got around to it until I got sober. I didn't publish any of those songs. I didn't actually work on the music until I finally got sober, because I told myself I don't deserve my creativity if I can't love myself,
That's valid. But hey, yo, during this time, did you have your girlfriend? Because that's the same.
No.
Can't have a girl unless you love yourself too, right?
Yeah, no, I didn't. No, I didn't start dating Lisa until 2020. So it was October of COVID year. Before that, if I was getting fucked up, I wasn't really dating anybody, who I don't. Nah, I wouldn't, man. I was super destructive. I'll tell you that much.
When did you write the book, man? Was that was 2019, 2020?
It's 2023. So I published the book last year, right? All of those writings are a compilation of everything I went through from 2016 to 2022. So there's writings over the course of those 6 years that I had put together. There's writings from when I was still using. There's writings from when I was deciding to get sober, when I got sober, and then years into my sobriety. So it's pretty spaced out, honestly. I didn't put it together until 2022 though,
Yeah.
Yeah.
That sounds good, man.
Yeah.
You did the final put together with the best mind possible.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. I was gonna ask, when did you graduate at GV?
The year before you got yourself failed out or whatever, bro.
Right, so 2016,
Yeah,
right?
2016. Yeah.
Right, that's what I thought. So that wait, yeah, I was like, damn, I didn't see him in 2017, but then again, I was fucked up. I don't really remember a lot of that year. I'll tell you that.
You know what's crazy is that when we were chilling, you hadn't. I mean, I'm sure you were doing shit that I didn't know about, but you were pretty put together and chasing a dream like pretty well.
Right, yeah, I was on the dean's list too in 2016.
Yo, I mean, you're a smart dude. I'm not really that surprised.
Yeah, I appreciate it. I mean, I was holding it together. I'll tell you that much. But you know, yeah, it's like I'm like a snowball, man. Like once I get going on something, like it's all over. Like if I get going on like good habits, I'll snowball into like a good individual, right? If
Like
I
you are now.
Yeah, I appreciate that. Once I get a couple bad habits in me though, like yeah, it's out of control. I'll tell you that much.
That's not good. So you couldn't even have a sip of beer at this point.
Right now?
Yeah.
Oh no, I'm done. No.
Like if you had a sip, you just go. You'd have a. It'd be a good night.
So, and I've talked about this with like my mentor before because I had a therapist for the first 3 years that I was getting sober that kind of helped me get sober, right? And we would talk about this instance, and he goes, you know what? Let's play out the next 6 months. Maybe you do smoke some weed, right? Or maybe you do have a couple of beers that one night, and you're really good about it, and you're like, oh, I'm just going to make this a monthly occurrence, right? And I'm like, yeah, I could do that, or every other weekend. In 6 to 12 months, it's going to be an everyday thing. I'll tell you, dude, I'll be drinking a fifth a day. I'll be smoking an eighth of weed. I'll be getting cocaine. Like, there's no moderation for me, unfortunately. So,
I'm a fan of all of those substances, but some people have the propensity to go, all out.
overboard, I should say. Yeah.
Overboard.
Yeah.
Dog. I mean, as bad. I always say this to people. As bad as it sounds, I wish that we were able to have fun during that era of your life, because those are some good bonds that could be made during that time. Although it's bad.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, and I mean, I still have like those bonds of like all my, all the homies that I partied with.
Exactly.
I don't, for a long time, even at the start of my sobriety, and some addicts I know look back and regret those decisions. And like, don't get me wrong, like addiction has a really nasty side and it ruins relationships, families, and all that. It's got a bunch of negative things, but people wouldn't do that stuff if it wasn't fun and if it wasn't beautiful in a sense.
Sure.
Like I had like so many good times on all that shit. I'm not gonna regret who I am at this point. I just learned how to be myself without it.
So you think you're a better person without it, just because you're more productive?
Me individually, yeah, it's not even like the productivity. It's like the lens I look through life now. And I'll relate this to my bad habit that I've had in the last year. So when I was putting the book out and publishing the book, I wanted to celebrate a little bit, and I'm like, I'm gonna start smoking cigars again, right? So the last year, I've been on and off with the tobacco and stuff. Dude, immediately, like, my thought process changes. I just want to eat shitty food. I want to play video games. Everything I'm writing about is depressing, I'm pleasure-based at this point. So I've noticed that in my sobriety, complete sobriety, I work out, I eat right, like I have a more positive outlook on life, like I'm more productive. Like it's night and day, man. The scale's totally outweighed in my sobriety right now. I would never change anything,
Before I ask you, I have a question about addiction, but before I ask you that, I want to ask you what you think about, there's this like internet topic. Is smoking weed like actually a good thing for everybody? I'm on the side where like undoubtedly it makes you lazy and hungry, but that doesn't mean you still can't get on your fucking shit and get the job done. But it's you're with it though. Like
I know a lot of very productive people who still smoke.
But would they not be more productive without it?
it just depends, man. Like you said, it makes you okay with being lazy, and it makes you, you get the munchies. It makes you hungry.
Yeah. Those aren't bad things.
After
One of them is.
I have seen, like weed opened up my life to a lot of different ways of creativity that I had never imagined, and out of all the substances I've done, it was actually the easiest for me to get rid of, to be honest. Yeah, because it made me so lazy. I'm like, damn, I don't want to work out, and I'm okay with eating burritos and donuts all day when I'm smoking weed, like it was really easy for me to give that one up. It's tough to say, man. I don't want to hate on weed because it's got a lot of positive things.
I'm not hating on it either. I used to smoke a lot of weed too.
Right. I look at everything through my new lens, but I always look at everything through I'm an extremist, right? Like if I like something, it's 0 to 100. I'm doing it all the time. I don't care about the consequences. Like I could lose all my money, in all respect for myself, I'm going to get that pleasure. That's what addiction is. There are people that can moderate things. I know people that can smoke weed and be creative and still work out and all that.
Right,
all that good shit, it's just different for everybody,
I agree. It's not a one size fits all. Not at all.
No, it's not.
But so I was going to ask you, at what point does it become addiction? Like I've got a couple friends who do a lot of Adderall and then they throw that word around. And I don't like that word being thrown around loosely.
Are you talking about addiction?
Yeah, because I mean, like I'm not an addict, but I would consider the definition of addiction being a complete derailment of like what you think of what a normal functioning ambitious person should be. So when I see people in life together saying that they're addicted, I'm like, all right.
I would say addiction. Well, here's the thing. I'm addicted to coffee, right? I can't go a day without coffee anymore. Like it's one of my only things that I ingest that I still have in my life, and I'm never going to get rid of that. I love coffee. It's an addiction.
There's no negative side effects to being addicted to coffee.
No, unless you're drinking too much cream and sugar in it, but I drink it black, so I'm not too worried about that.
Even then, most of your sugar would come from like a bad diet, like
that too.
Perhaps.
Right. So, and here's the other thing. I was addicted to Adderall. I was taking, at most, I was taking like 120 milligrams a day for months. I went into college in 2011 at 180 pounds. I was a baseball player in high school. I was just like, your normal jock dude, whatever. And when I was admitted into outpatient in 2013, so a year and a half later, I was 130 pounds. So I lost 50 pounds, So when people say they're addicted to it, it's like, okay, if you're taking like 10 to 20 milligrams a day, like doctors prescribe that to people, if you're hawking all of your shit to get money to take 60 to 80 milligrams of Adderall a day, you're lying to your loved ones about where your money's going, or you're lying to your loved ones about where you're at while you're doing things. Like there are a lot of signs for an addict that you can put together, obviously. Like you said, it's a complete derailment of life, for a normal, ambitious human being. So I I agree with that.
Okay. Well, I feel you. I feel like now you're just pretty open-minded. Like everybody's struggle is your struggle. You don't want to compare struggles, but I myself find it okay to make everything relative. So like if someone is talking to Jon Cerone trying to compare addictions, and then they say something that's not even close to what the typical addict goes through, it's kind of like an insult to what you guys go through. But you know what I mean? You ever think of it like that?
I don't view it like that, because I understand, like, during my heavy addictions and stuff, like people in my family would kind of take shots, but I always kind of knew sometimes it came from a place of love. And one problem with America in general, like you said, like maybe you have a poor diet, like the addiction to sugar here in America and an unhealthy diet is out of this fucking world, you know?
It's crazy.
So it is crazy. Like physical wellness is a huge problem. So I see people who have a problem with food, with eating. I see people who have a problem with shopping. See people who have a problem with their cell phone and screen time. You know, I have an issue with that too. So I know that everybody goes through their addictions and their vices, right? Like I was never addicted to heroin, right? So I don't know what that's like. I was never
Right.
addicted to, huh?
But you tried it.
No, I didn't try heroin. No.
I wouldn't have judged you for doing that.
Nah, I did try meth once, and because I'm an uppers guy, I never did downers, so heroin or like Vicodins and all that shit. Yeah. So I didn't fuck with any of that shit.
Yeah.
But I don't like want to say like I was addicted to alcohol, which out of all my addictions, like I've never had the withdrawals that I had like with alcohol. That's some heavy shit, you know, like for 2 weeks I was like it was miserable, you know, like dry heaving, throwing up, sweating through all of my clothes, like crying miserably, like it was fucked up.
That was hard as fuck though. Like
It was. I mean, I was drinking a fifth a day for like a year, you know, and
just on some cool shit, like yo, this is relaxing. This is, you know, or was it on some rage type shit?
it was on some I'm sitting in my apartment by myself doing it. It wasn't some rage shit. Nearing the end of my addictions, I was very antisocial. I was under my rock. I was very depressed. You know, it wasn't like I'm going to go out and party and stuff. Like I did it all in my apartment pretty much, you know.
So why? I mean, I'm sure you've been through this with your therapist, but like, is it a deeper issue why you felt the need to go overboard, like compensating for something, or just was it just fun? Because that's cool too.
It started out as fun though,
Yeah.
you know, or like you always make it out, you know, it always, like I said from the start, like we wouldn't have done these things unless like it was fun in a sense or pleasurable, you know.
Yeah.
To overcompensate, you know, that's actually interesting. The issue I was having is, you know, I couldn't forgive myself for how I had treated myself and how I had treated other people in my life. So, in order to make myself feel more ashamed and miserable, I dug a deeper hole.
That shit is the
It,
craziest like thought process of all time.
isn't it? It's pretty fucked up. It's like it is one of the most negative things I've ever had the pleasure of encountering in my life, you know. I've never like pure hate. Like there are forms of hate towards other people. You know, we don't even need to go into it. Like the world has a lot of hate, but self-hatred is some of the most crazy shit I've ever seen. For sure, cuz it doesn't really make a lot of sense why we're doing it.
It doesn't.
No.
It doesn't, man.
But now on the other side of it, like how you said, my lens now, like after being sober for 4.5 years, what I've been able to accomplish, how I feel right now, like I don't think I could ever go back, you know?
Do you so like all of that was like instant gratification. It feels good right now. You feel like shit later. Have you
I didn't.
applied? Oh, you didn't
Ye-
feel like shit later?
No, I just kept re-upping though. If I started to come down, you know, that's the thing. That's the point of being like an addict. Like normal people. I don't, you know, people who
No.
aren't
Like me, I have the periods where I don't re-up
like
because
drink or use and stuff. Like you'll come down and be like, all right, I'm gonna start another day, right?
sure.
You're like like I said, it's a snowball. You know, I'll keep going.
You telling me that you didn't have any periods where like, yo, I can't re-up on this because I don't have enough money, or like, so there had to be a situation where you didn't have enough money, you didn't have transportation to hit the plug, and like what then?
Those were filled with rage. Those were like angry moments, you know. Either that or I would try and go to bed so I wouldn't have to like think about coming down, you know, like yeah, yeah, I mean, it's just not getting what you want. You know, it's almost like a childish tantrum in those moments. So, yeah, of course, there's moments where you run out of money or I can't re-up, you know, and those were the moments that I was the most frustrated, you know, because I would be face to face with the demons that I was facing at those moments, you know.
Self-hatred.
Oh yeah, oh yeah.
What was a breakthrough moment though? Like
the breakthrough moment was this is 2019. It was May, and I had woken up in a pile of like spit and vomit right on my apartment floor. You know, I'd done it like a couple times before that, but not, I don't know, something clicked that day. And normally I would get up, crush a 5-hour energy, take a shower, and try and go to work and act like, you know, nothing happened. But right, exactly. And that day I don't know, man. I was like, dude, I'm not gonna like make music. I'm not gonna love myself. I'm not gonna find someone to love me. Like all of these things I know that life has to offer me, like I won't be able to get them if I continue doing what I'm doing, right? And I had tried moderation. You know, family members had been like, people who didn't really understand it, they're like, dude, just like moderate it, you know? And I'm like, I tried for.
You don't think I've tried that before?
That's what I'm saying. Like it was trial and error for like 8 years, and I'm like, dude, I just can't do it, you know? But that mentality of like 0 to 100, you know, if I could harness it in a positive way, like writing books or doing podcasting or creativity, like I'm very relentless with stuff like that, you know?
And that was my question, is that realization, and once applied to positive things, like that's everything.
It is. Yeah. It's I do go overboard with the positive things sometimes, and then I get burned out, you know, like I'll play basketball like 5-6 days a week and then, you know, get a knee injury, you know, because I just hoop too much, you know?
Yeah.
Like I love hooping, you know, or like I'll be so productive with writing and podcasting that I'll eventually get burned out and be like, damn, I'm not even like enjoying my other hobbies right now, you know?
Moderation even is in everything, but
it's
better
key.
positive than negative, no doubt.
Yeah, of course. Yeah, I just had to learn how to like start filling my time with more positive things, you know? So
it seems like, or even just stop doing the negative shit, and then everything just falls into place for you.
Right. And it's funny you say that too, because like the first year that I was sober, I just played video games and watched anime. That was it.
Yeah, that's not productive at all.
No, it's not. But I needed, and I still had my e-cig at that point. Like I was still smoking nicotine, but I told myself, and this was actually an idea I was going to have for another self-help book called The Hierarchy of Habits. I've talked about it a little bit on here, where I was going to write a book explaining like my replacement process, like to replace old habits with good ones, you know? So I would start at the bottom with like my really bad habits, like the cocaine and alcohol. And then I'm like, I can't like immediately replace those with like really good habits, like eating salad and working out, because the dopamine just don't hit like that, you know?
It don't hit at all.
No, it don't hit at all, right? So I needed to like replace it with a little something that's like, okay, this isn't productive, but it's not, you know, drugs and alcohol. So I chose like anime and video games, and then I slowly weaned off of those to like put more positive things in, you know.
You can't go from 0 to 100 because
all the time
it just won't work. Everything
it won't.
So
right now, I crashed and burned 1,000,000 times attempting sobriety because I tried to replace all of my bad habits with really good ones right away, and it just never worked.
Make you go right back.
That's That's what happened. Yeah.
Like this shit failed. Hell, dog. I'm finna go. But you got it now, man. It's beautiful to see. I didn't even see you during this period of your life, though. So I'm just hearing it, you know, like
right.
Like I never saw that.
Yeah, when we were chilling, so after the first stint I had with addiction and failing out of school and stuff, I got my shit together for 6 months, and I was completely stone cold sober, and I got straight A's at a community college and got reaccepted into Grand Valley.
That's
And
dope.
that's when you met me on my time around.
Yeah, we might
Yeah.
have recently talked about that, but that been so many years ago, I don't really
Yeah,
recall.
it was a minute ago.
Yeah.
But I had started like using seldomly like when you met me too. I was like, but like I said, I was on the dean's list, you know.
Yeah.
So I was partying occasionally. I was on the dean's list. I had all my shit together. And like you said, I had my shit together, but I don't know, man. A year and a half, like I said, it's just a snowball, you know. You lose a couple people in your life, or some other life changes happen, and then I'll immediately go back to my old addictions or comfort, you know, and it just destroyed me. So yeah,
So, I mean, I always wonder, like, nobody can help you through this journey. It's like a self-realization.
right.
So, what advice can you even really give to someone? Because they just got to make the choice themselves at the end of the day. I could tell you whatever you want, but if you don't do it, like,
Right. It's funny you said that too, because after 3 weeks of strong arming my sobriety in 2019, so I got sober from the drugs and alcohol for 3 weeks, and my one friend in my group here referred me to my mentor at the time. They're like, "Oh, you need like a therapist or something?" I'm like, "Yeah." She goes, "Oh, well, he's 27 years sober too," and I'm like, "Okay, this is perfect." Yeah. Because I had a therapist growing up, but he couldn't relate. He couldn't help me through what I was going through at this point, you know. So I was like searching for a different therapist. And after having the first hour session with him, he goes, "Well, I got some good news. I can see you, right? Like I have a slot available to see you from now." And I'm like, "All right, this is great." He goes, "You just have to promise me that you're not going to use anymore." And I'm like, "Well, yeah, that's why I'm in here." And he goes, "No, like seriously, like if we're going to do this work, if you're going to heal, like you need to do it, right?" So like you said, I can give somebody advice, you know, but you have to make that decision to do it, right? So
I'm
I
sure
did, and I
when you said that, you were just like,
I took a step back and I was like, man, I thought I came in here because I was gonna do that. And then when he said it again, I'm like, oh shit, no, I'm actually gonna fucking do it. You
yeah.
know, like I'm doing it. So yeah, that's where I'm at. If I had to give any advice to somebody, um, and here's the other thing, I just had an episode with my cousin last week. My cousin was addicted to fast food and smoking weed, you know, and then for COVID, he lost like 70 pounds and turned his life around for the better, you know. And he occasionally has like a glass of scotch and a cigar, you know, here and there, you know. He isn't a full-blown addict like I am. He's able to moderate it, but he had to take a step back and realize what health is, you know, and then he was able to enjoy these things seldomly. I know a few people in my life who can do that. So I think the advice that I would give people is like try and understand what kind of addict you are if you're going to put yourself in this conversation. If you just need to give it up completely, like, hey man, it's nice over here, I'll tell you that. It's also, if you don't think you're as extreme as me but you want to get some shit figured out, like how you look at yourself or your relationships or your health, then just take a break from a few things, you know? Like you gotta imagine, like, life is like sometimes 60 to 80 years long. Like you don't need to be fucked up for most of your adult life, you know? Like just fucking chill.
yo, we think we do,
We
and
do.
we know it's fucking fun. I mean, you know.
Yeah, I know. It is fun, and I don't know. I always like after taking Eastern philosophy at Grand Valley that year I was there, the second time around, I looked through a lens of like Buddhism a lot and Taoism. Like I spent 8 years like destroying my body and my life, so
Man, yeah.
I'm trying to like do the opposite. You know, it's always a balance, like you've said, or moderation.
I
Yeah,
always
it's
tell my friends it's way more fun to realize your life purpose and like get that shit. Like
oh God, yeah.
you think it's so fun doing this, but like especially my artist friends,
For sure.
just doing drugs, not making any music. I'm doing it with them, but I'm also like
Doing the
making
work.
yeah, and
Right.
that's actually the most fun. All of that is
Right.
achieving your life purposes. That's
Right.
it. Yeah,
Because anybody can party. Not
anybody,
everybody.
dog.
Anybody can party. Not everyone can find their life purpose.
And even if you find it, putting the work in too. Like
Right.
like those guys know their life purpose. They're just like not grabbing onto it. You know what you're meant to do.
I know. Yeah.
You
Yeah.
know it. I
Yeah.
know it. We know it.
Well, when you find it too, sometimes you try and doubt yourself too. You know, sometimes you try and give yourself reasons on why it's not going to work out or some shit like that. You know,
That's okay
you just
too.
it is okay. You know, I view it as a journey. Also, like if somebody told me like 10 years ago when I was in the midst of everything that in 10 years down the road I was going to be completely sober, trying to find a way to help other people attain their dreams, I would have been like, no, I'm gonna just party and be a famous rich rap star
For
when you're
sure.
20. That's what you
Yeah.
think, right? You know?
Yeah.
Yeah. But then like pieces start falling into place with your purpose, and you got to just move with it. You know?
The a conscious decision to just move with it.
I'm saying.
And then I mean people take it as preaching when you try to say these things. Yo, I'm just keeping it real with you, bruh. Like
Yeah.
you
I
gonna
mean, you're
look back on this combo, not you and me, but whoever,
right.
and be like, yeah, he was just trying to help.
Yeah, we don't view it. We take things too personally sometimes. Like if you were to say something like that, people are like, "Well, you're taking shots at me," you know, out of like a sense of pride, and then realistically, you're doing it out of a sense of love. Like, no, I want to see you succeed. You know.
Dude, I have a bunch of friends like that. How can I believe in you more than you believe in yourself? And then you take that as offense that I believe in you more than you believe in yourself. You should be like, damn, bro, like, thank you, brother. Thank you
Right.
for
But we don't view it like that in the moment.
nah.
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 Nah, man.
Nah, they don't.
I've been there though too. Trust me. I think we've all been there before. Like I said, when you're younger, especially when you're younger, you take things as like a personal shot, you know? And then as I've gotten older, and like I said, with the sobriety, like everything's just so clear to me right now when people like talk to me and when I listen to myself and all that stuff. It's being able to take a step back and being self-aware of it, you know?
Self-awareness, everything. Yeah.
There's love in places where you never thought there was love, pretty much.
Yeah, there is. That's powerful right there. I like that.
I appreciate
like
it. Yeah.
It's like in your own backyard, dog. Right there.
So, when is your next album coming out, buddy?
Dog, it's in the works, man. It's in the works.
Hell yeah. All right.
Man. You know what it is. Just all the tracks are done, just trying to get the mixing done.
Right.
Yeah, man. I actually have a lot of content. A lot. So
That's good.
yeah, man. I ain't worried on that front, man.
For sure.
Yeah.
I'll be waiting for it to drop. I really appreciate listening to all your projects right when they drop.
Nah, word up, man. And yo, man, you're not even as close with me as some of my good friends, but you tap in more than the people who I would expect to tap in. So I never forget shit like that. You and your brother showing up.
I appreciate
After I
it.
had
Yeah.
in years showing up, taking time out of your week, your day. Come on, man.
It's all love, man.
Clearly.
Like we were saying, you just want to see the homies succeed, right?
Yeah, but you put your money where your mouth is and pull it up.
Yeah. Yeah, I ain't fronting, man. You know that.
Not fucking down. No, I gotta cop that book, man. Like, it's ASAP.
Wait, you ain't got a copy yet?
I feel like I swear I bought one, but
Bruh, you bought one. You took a picture of it and sent it over Snap.
oh, I did, yo.
Yeah, you did.
That. I just never chopped it up with you about it.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah,
man. I was gonna say if you want another copy, I'll send you one. I got a bunch of copies right now.
Nah, I might be in my car because I read all the time. I'm trying to see. Yeah, it's probably it's in there. Nah,
Yeah,
what's up?
I had an episode with Muncie. I've had a couple episodes with Muncie, so he actually did some reading and then he wanted to talk to me about the book too that we did on an episode.
Yeah. See, now I wish I would have done that. But um, do you have any plans to write another book though? I mean, it's high time. That was what, like a year and a half ago.
That was a year ago. Yeah, no, I got it actually. Oh, I got a couple, man. Uh so I was gonna write that hierarchy of habits book, which was gonna be like a step-by-step self-help book about how to get your habits and vices under control. But I had some shit happen earlier this year that made me write almost like an entirely new book back in May or June. Dude, in like 3 weeks, I wrote 20,000 words in 3 weeks. So I just fucking pumped it out. And the next book is going to be, it's just going to be called F. Lisa doesn't like it. I'm just going to call it F, okay? Um,
She's
so,
got a point from a like a perception standpoint. People are gonna be like F type shit.
right.
Like, who gives a fuck?
Well, like on the internet, when you say F, like you're just like saying like fuck, right? Which is like a running joke with a bunch of gamers and stuff. But originally, I was just gonna call it fear, forgiveness, and freedom, right? And
I like
then
that.
I wanted to throw failure in there too, and I'm like, that's too many fucking F's. There's 4 F's, on the title. So let's just call it F, right?
Word. I get when you explain it, it makes perfect sense.
Right.
Yeah.
She goes, maybe you should put it in small font on the front. I'm like, you know what? I'll hire a PR person for that shit, But
Yeah, you go back the fuck up. No.
yeah, right. That's what I'm saying. Yeah. But I wanted to write on forgiveness was like a topic I really wanted to like dive into cuz I can't really say I'm religious anymore after being raised really religious, and I want to touch base on that topic for people who aren't religious, Like the topic of forgiveness is something even when I was a practicing Christian, I didn't understand it fully, So I just wanted to dive into that topic to try and make it more accessible for everybody, even if you are religious or not,
I don't even think the word has like religious. It shouldn't have religious connotations. Like some shit,
Right.
it's like human. Like you could explain that without even ever mentioning religion. To me, for example, some people need to draw that religious parallel, but
Right.
I never view things in a religious lens, like anything. And honestly, breaking it down that way to me would make me like turn me off for
Well,
me because everybody
yeah,
knows really.
that's how I am right now too. So I was actually raised, private school, like,
So was I.
yeah, super religious.
Catholic.
Like, I was like Lutheran or
Okay, yeah.
Christian Reformed or something like that.
Mhm.
So everything had that kind of like religious lens or overbearingness of it.
Yeah.
So I wanted to try and like talk about that without the religious aspect of it,
Yeah.
because I think one of the biggest reasons why people don't find their life's purpose is because they don't forgive themselves for making mistakes when they're finding it. Like we make a few mistakes on our path and we're like, well, I'm just not going to make it, or I'm not going to figure it out. I'm just going to work this job and pay the bills and shit, because you don't forgive yourself for just fucking living.
That shit is crazy too. Like I feel like a lot of people do actually have that figured out. If you look at anyone who's like accomplished anything, they realize that mistakes are just part of the journey.
Right.
You wouldn't you have to make mistakes before you make like the right move. You
Yeah.
have to. It's honestly good that you're making mistakes. That means you're trying.
Yeah.
Like, but that
Some
shouldn't be
people
so late.
some people are afraid of failing though.
We
I
all
was
know.
too.
I
Yeah.
see
It
it.
sucks. Yeah, I mean it fucking sucks, but you got to like roll with the punches, right?
Yeah. I think, and this is where I always have a problem with. I've got a friend who thinks that I don't feel that same fear. Some people just recognize the fear, take it as part of what it is. But we still feel that same fear you feel. Just disregard it. My friends got a fear of like putting music out and getting judged, as if I don't have that fear every time I release a track.
Right.
But I know that it's just all right. It's part of the game.
Right.
I'm scared too, brother. I'm scared too. I'm even more scared now that I got something to protect. A little bit of buzz to protect. I'm even more scared than I was back then.
Right.
Yeah. So, I get it. On that front.
Yeah, I think, and it's tough being an artist in general. Like when I was putting out gloving videos, or like when I did that Grand Valley talent show in 2016, and I did like a whole choreographed dance with like the gloves on my hands and shit. I was so nervous. Huh?
That takes balls, brother.
Dude, I know it. Fucking, and I wasn't even fucked up doing it. I was completely sober,
That's crazier.
Yeah, I'm saying. I was worried about putting music out too. But then I started to realize, like, dude, nobody's going to be more critical about my work than me. Like, if somebody's going to drop a comment on how I suck, I've already said it to myself in some way, shape, or form. As a critic, as an inner critic of my artist experience, right? So I just realized, I'm like, dude, I got to put this shit out. Like, no one's going to roast me better than I've roasted myself already,
I think that's true too. That's true too.
Yeah. And in a sense, you got to realize that for all the people who might give you shit for what you put out, you got to look at how many people you're affecting in a positive manner who are going to enjoy your shit, I
mean, once again, that's what I would try to tell anyone who's scared. There's a lot of people,
right,
who need to hear that, and even they'd hear that and still be like, nah, whatever.
Man, life's too short for that shit, though, man.
Hey, it is, man. Yo, flex that tattoo real quick, dog.
Which one?
Oh, the latest one, man. The latest sleeve.
Oh, Wait, hold up.
He said, wait, hold up. I got too much, baby. Still getting filled in, right?
Yeah,
yo, that rosary at the end is crazy. That's dope.
And then I got
the lo-fi, dog, with the analog clock for the woo, tough. Tough. That's tough, baby. Yo, that's tough. That's tough.
Yeah, this one on this arm I just had done last Thursday. So most of the scabs are off, so I'm finally gonna be able to hoop tomorrow. I'm fucking so ready for it, man.
You like hooping dolo, or you like doing like 5-on-5 runs, 1-on-1s?
So recently in the last like couple months, or this summer and this year, I've been playing like a lot more 32, and I got a buddy who's trying to get back into hooping. So 32 is like 21,
It's like you played at 32.
Yeah, you play. Well, it's like 1-on-1. So, like if there's 4 people, you play up to 32 by 2s and 3s. If you miss the shot, the person who gets the rebound, you guard them. So it's just 1-on-1, essentially the whole game.
Yeah. See, everyone's got their iterations of games. That sounds like King of the Court.
Yeah, essentially. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. King of the Court's a little different though, because you're literally playing 1-on-1, but in 32, like everybody's there trying to get the rebound and shit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
For sure.
I used to play 5s like 4 or 5 days a week. I'd play at LA Fitness. That was where I would run 5s with everybody. I haven't been running 5s this year though, because man, dude, sometimes it's just a big ego contest.
Bro, that's why I don't play. Bro, I'm the chillin'. Yo, I ain't got time to, butt heads with anybody.
I'm saying.
I'm trying to get my cardio in, G.
Dude, it sucks. It's like, I'm just trying to have fun. Like, don't get me wrong. Like, when you see me out there, I'm 110% Dennis Rodman out there. I'm running, right? But the minute you start arguing about shit like this, the NBA, I'm like, bro.
Yo, Cass is tripping, dog. Like, there's too much testosterone going around.
Like,
Yo, it's,
Dude, people gotta chill, man.
and I've always been like the cat to let my game talk. Like, oh, you think it's a foul? You can have that. Take the ball back. I'll defend
Right,
you and get that ball back. Or
right,
like, oh, okay, I can't call a foul back. You can have the ball. Whatever. Like game talks. What are we talking? What are we talking about?
right.
Like,
I don't like getting fucking mad about that shit anymore. So I just stopped going because there used to be a Snapchat group where everyone would say which LA Fitness they were going to play at during the week. And I just left the group. I'm like, this ain't good for me, man. I got some bad juju rubbing off on me, you know?
yeah, it's just not. It's never that serious with anything.
No,
I feel like
no.
ego is crazy. Like even someone cuts you off on a road and you feel the need to get into some road rage, man. Like, fuck is wrong
Like
with
it,
you?
like it's not chill.
It's not. It's not that big of a deal.
It's not.
Yo,
It's
like,
that self-awareness, though, being able to take a step back, you know? Um, I'm not perfect. I get mad all the fucking time, especially about what you just said, road rage, because man, people be driving dumb as fuck out here. So
oh, too. But to
it's
ever let that get physical is just like, really?
oh god, yeah, no, I could never. I'm not like that. Hell no.
You see it all the time.
Yeah, I
Like,
don't know what people got to prove though, man.
like it's they. Hey,
It's the ego, right?
it is, and that's a big problem. And not to get like race related, but like a big thing in the black community is like proving that who's tougher than who. I gotta act all hard in this, gangster.
Right.
Like, all right,
Well, as you may know, it's more, I live outside of the city, but there's like basketball is not a white person sport, as you know, there's not a lot of white people can hoop, so um I'm just telling you
yo,
that.
that's mad funny, dog.
I mean, I just say it how it is, it's tough, but you know, I see it's not even when I'm playing, when I'm hooping, it's not really a race thing because there's so many different races on the court, and like you said, ego's a problem, man.
For
Ego's
him,
a problem. It's a man problem.
it's,
Everybody's trying to be tougher than everyone.
bro, that shit is so whack to me. That's even why I've got even certain friends who are supposed to be your brothers, but they put on this air of like competition. We're not even competing. You're my dog. Why are you trying to?
Right.
Why are you trying to big bro me right now? I'm not even competing with you. You're competing with me, and it's one sided.
Right.
Like, bro, we don't got to do that thing you do with other people. Like, we can actually just be like
Chill.
not competitive.
Yeah, right. Just be like normal friends. Like a rivalry's one thing, or like if you're playing Super Smash Bros. And talking shit to each other,
Oh, yeah.
But
That's where it's like I'm talking. Yeah,
yeah,
that's real.
that's good competition. But if
Yeah,
you're like trying to compete in life and like put your homies down and shit, it's like,
shit is
nah,
crazy. I've got friends like that. I can't. I can no longer be around them, even though I want to be. But that constant need to like prove something. You don't need to prove things to your friends.
no,
Those are the last people you need to like play that game with.
no, because the real ones are the ones who like respect you for who you are already. So you ain't got to prove shit,
Say
right?
word. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. No, it's yeah. I don't know, man. Fuck. I mean, if you've realized that there's some people you can't like hang around, like that's also another thing that came with my sobriety too. Like I said, I still have all my homies who still use and shit like that. I still needed to give that a break in order to recalibrate my life.
Have to make distance. Like
Right. I mean, that just comes with growing though too.
it does.
Yeah.
It's sad though. It's like you're not conducive to my new mission. I can't really hang around with you.
Can't fuck with it. Nope.
And honestly, it's a buzzkill on both sides, dog.
Yeah, right. It just turns the whole thing sour.
Yeah. I've even got friends who like they don't drink or like they don't even drinking. Like I'm not I don't drink like you did, but drinking is a big thing just for the atmosphere that I like to be a part of. Like I like to go to
Right.
the bar and play pool and throw back a couple drinks just like any dude. But if you're not into that, like, you're not really gonna kick it with me a lot, just
Right.
because that's my atmosphere,
Right.
right? And it's as simple as that. Friends I haven't seen in a minute, they just don't like to do that shit.
Yeah. I do like playing pool. But there is a limit to how long I can stay out in a bar setting. But I don't have a billiards table in my house, so I got to go somewhere to play.
That's the only reason I want a house is for that. Then I wouldn't even leave the crib. Oh God,
Man,
man,
I'm just waiting for a fucking house, bro. I'm sick of this apartment living.
what you in the 2-bed
Yeah, we got a 2-bedroom right now.
in Chicago? Man, it must be nice.
Yeah, it is. I actually got a hookup with one of the clients we have for bookkeeping is a real estate person, so he hooked us up with a really nice place to rent out. So
That's the beauty of life is connections.
Man, life is all about connections. I had to come out from under my rock to realize that.
Yeah. And yo, I had this conversation with a friend too. You're robbing people of your who Jon Cerone is by being under that rock.
Yeah.
Not only are you robbing yourself from making connections, people need John too.
Yeah. People need everybody, man.
Word, but you were robbing the world.
Yeah, I know. I had. See, that's the thing. I had to love myself first before I was confident coming out.
Word.
That was the thing. Now I'm trying to share who I am with all those other people who need to hear that.
Yeah, look at that podcast. You were telling me about that. They one that liked your niche in the addiction. They shouted you out talking about yo, come on our shit. We like your story.
Right. Yeah,
Bro.
the wellness one. Yeah.
Look at that.
That was crazy too, because I had always thought that this is just going to be a shoot the shit type of thing in person. Then I start getting hit up by people who have heard my story and stuff. So I got to get back on that guest speaking, try and hit some people up. I'm trying to come out with a new book again, so I could start marketing that though.
I mean, your professionalism comes through. Even if you're in the shit, you could tell this guy's really not playing around on the aesthetics front. He's
right.
An eloquent speaker. Right. He's got a good background in the shit. Got the sure SM7B and all that. Come on, dog.
Boy. I ain't playing. Boy. I ain't playing around. You see that, Mike? Sheesh.
Yeah, boy.
Goddamn, I got 2 of these motherfuckers, bro.
Might as well put them both up.
Put 2 mics next to each other?
Yeah, just flex on these motherfuckers.
Just flex.
These motherfuckers.
I should, man.
Have one going down, have one going up.
Yeah, I got 2. Yeah.
Got 2.
It was a good cop when I got these microphones. I was I think it was in February, and I'm I was using an AKG and a Bluebird mic, but the Bluebird mic was for when I was recording the rap vocals. Yeah,
condenser versus it was like a broadcast mic,
right?
Radio.
Yeah, so in February, I'm man, if I'm going to do this, I'm going to fucking do this, right? So I just went into Guitar Center. I'm you better hook me the fuck up right now. So
and that's a decision anyone who's serious has to make. You invest in yourself.
Right.
Dude,
right.
It may not even been the right moment financially, but you knew you'd be all right, and that it was the right move to make.
When you're finding your purpose, man, sometimes money doesn't matter,
It never matters. I hate when, okay, it does matter. Well, let's not lose your fucking apartment.
Right.
This tour that I booked, I lost money. Every road trip, the expenses, the Airbnbs, I had to break people off. Sometimes the turnout wasn't popping, and all in all, it was an L financially, but it was a dub for meeting people, making fans, and hitting the ground.
I was gonna say that was probably the best fucking part, though, man.
I'll do it again. I will do it again. But I don't want to hear people saying oh yeah, it was an L financially, and that's a given.
Of course. I mean, when you're starting out with anything like that, like I took a huge L putting out the book and all the other stuff with that. Like it ain't cheap to do that shit, you know?
It's not.
Same thing with producing music. Like if you're going to have it mixed and mastered correctly, studio time and shit, it's an expensive fucking hobby and it's an expensive fucking dream to start out. I'll tell you that.
For sure.
But the dub is doing it, you know, actually doing it. That's
For
the
sure.
dub. Yeah.
Dude, that's in my bio now. I had to change my social media bio to something I heard Deion Sanders say. He said, him and Ocho Cinco were going at it. He said, yeah, man, I don't talk. My game is too loud. Because, like, yo, motherfuckers just be talking. But I don't need to talk because, like, you see what the fuck I'm doing. That'll speak louder than whatever I say. Like.
Was that on a podcast?
It was, man. They got, the football NBA podcast they do now that everyone started.
Was it Club Shay Shay?
Nah, it wasn't on Shay Shay. It was like Brandon. Club Shay Shay's fire though.
Bruh, I fucking love Unc, man. He's the man.
Unc is tight, man.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, Podcast P's dope too.
Yo, so you do watch the basketball joints. Podcast P's dope. Klay Thompson.
I haven't heard Clay's and Draymond's really that much, but I like Podcast P. I know Pat Bev's got one. I like JJ Redick sometimes. I just like the shortened clips of everything, you know, but Podcast P has really good guests on. Like I love when he has like DeMar come on, or he has like
that episode because they were like all those three were friends from college and AAU.
Yeah, right.
Like, even the guest on Podcast P, the point guard, they were telling stories of like parties and shit. Yeah,
I love that shit. Honestly, basketball is the only sport like I like watch. So I'm very invested in that.
You should. I mean, it's good. I love that sport too, and I only watch when I got like a parlay going, to be honest. But
yeah, that's the one addiction I never got into, man. My brother's a big gambler, but
see, everybody got one.
Everybody does have one. Yeah, I just always viewed it like, damn, how can I gamble this money away if I needed to like spend it on booze, you know?
Yeah.
That was what would go on in my head with the gambling. It's either the gambling or the doing the drugs, you know? So I was like,
see, that's actually what's actually interesting is what you hold importance on.
Yeah.
Your brother likes, I would assume, the adrenaline of gambling, possibility to win the jackpot. But you're like, nah, I need that for this.
Right. Well, he used to be a heavy alcoholic too.
I heard.
Yeah, he turned his shit around to start chasing that running dream, you know? So,
and did he, was he a collegiate runner?
No.
He just wanted to run.
Right. No, he pitched. He was a pitcher at college, a D3 college here, so he was a lefty pitcher in college. No, he was not a runner though.
I do want to get one thing straight. I don't care what level of collegiate sports you play. It's an impressive thing that sets you apart from someone who didn't get to that level past high school.
Oh, fuck like, yeah, for sure.
I got nothing but respect for anybody on any collegiate level.
Dude, it's tough. I crapped out. My dad was so mad because I was supposed to play at Grand Valley when I graduated high school.
You had what it took, and I'm sure that bites at you even to this day. Like,
yeah, but yeah, I like basketball more now, man. And
that's a cop out.
Yeah, well, here's the other thing. I knew that I was a good baseball player, but and this is me getting down on myself too. But after seeing like some of the other people who are coming in to play at a Division II school, I'm like, dude, I'm not riding bench, man. I'm not that guy. I knew it. Like physically, like if we're talking from a physical standpoint in genetics, like there are some people in this world who are more blessed than me.
Sure. That speaks to your skill level, that you're not genetically blessed and you're still with those people.
It was all skill. I had a really good first step in the outfield. I was really quick. I made good decisions. Like it was all skill based, you know, but I just wanted to party, which was the real reason.
Bro,
Because
yeah.
I knew going into it, I'm like, if I'm going to play baseball at Grand Valley State, I'm not going to have time to like mingle with people, party, or even work on studies or do what I want. Like you said, it's mad respect for people who do a college level sport. Right. And I didn't want to make those. So
I'm sure a lot of people can agree. That's why I have respect for them.
that they did that.
Yeah.
For sure. Yeah, my brother made those.
Y'all go ahead.
No, you go ahead. You good.
I was gonna say it's I always like to find out how much respect is deserved, because you got the people who actually aren't into the partying, so they don't even have that as a potential distraction. And then you've got the people like you who love partying and love the sport. So you have to deal with that distraction. Some people really just aren't like into that. So
Right.
it's and this is another huge thing with me. Some things are easier for other people based on the circumstances around certain vices and all of that. Right? You've got your guy who's a bookworm and doesn't party, or who's an athlete and doesn't party. Doesn't even enjoy it. Then you've got
Right.
Jon Cerone, who likes both of them. To stay on path with it's harder for John. Right? Just
it's yeah, it was harder for me to. I mean, most people who I haven't been formally diagnosed, but so my girlfriend is she's a special education teacher in the city of Chicago, so she's she deals with a lot of neurodivergent students and people, and after dating for 3 years, she like points out a lot of like my ADHD tics and stuff like that, so it was very difficult for me to do one thing because I wanted to do all the things, right?
I'll let that slide. America, I'll tell you what, America is the number one culprit of you throwing those words around.
Right.
Like,
I mean, psychology is dangerous. Like which I was also very blessed because I didn't get tested as a kid. Like if they tested me as a kid and threw me on Adderall at 7 or 9, like I would not be the person I am today. I don't think. Yeah, sometimes it's overprescribed, whatever they're doing in big pharma. So,
and it's not even just overprescribed. It starts from the parents just not saying, "Hey, my kid just needs to buckle the fuck up." oh wait, there actually is something wrong with him, or they're not focused.
Right. Sometimes it does fall on the parents' inability to deal with certain things. Like I'm not going to say that there are people out there who need help, like from some of the stories, that I've heard, like there are people who are neurodivergent, but sometimes, there's bad parenting too. Let's just say that.
Dude, yeah, and I'll also even bring it. I saw this Facebook meme of like frozen pizza and how the pepperoni comes all scattered, and you like to take the frozen pizza, arrange the pepperonis in a logical order, and then someone commented, "Yeah, that's my ADHD." And then there were a bunch of comments talking about, we just want the pepperoni evenly distributed.
Right, that's not ADHD. Yeah,
that describes America. Thinking your need to place a piece of pepperoni is ADHD.
Is ADHD?
It's just,
I mean,
I just want the pizza to be like, yo.
Right, I want a good amount of pepperoni in each bite.
And that damn sure is an ADHD.
No, it's not. It's not.
That's what's going on.
Yeah, people mislabeling things like that. I understand that. It's crazy.
Yeah.
But yeah, I definitely, like you were saying, like there's the bookworm who doesn't have the distraction of partying, and then there's the people who do the bookworm stuff. Like in high school, like I was super nerd. Like I watched anime and I still played Pokemon and video games, and I was really good at school, but then I was a jock in every other aspect,
Yeah, that's I mean that was me too. I was having Pokemon battles high as fuck in the park.
Hey.
Our basketball sophomore year, but like
big gas.
But that's not even, because that's basically saying you just have different interests.
Right.
Like there's NBA players who love anime. That doesn't take away from athletic prowess.
Right.
Right.
Well, like you were saying, there's some things that are easier for other people, or like, and there's priorities. So I didn't want to be a college level athlete, because I couldn't be a nerd and party.
But you could.
You know.
Some people did do it all.
Yeah, I
Fucking
I I ain't
what's his,
got that though.
and that's what I'm saying. It's okay to admit that somebody can handle life better.
Or that amount of time constriction, you know.
Yeah, like some people are really better at things. That's okay.
Right.
Like I have no problem admitting that there are certain people better at writing rhymes than me. Like uh they probably worked harder at it or maybe they're just naturally better.
Right.
It's okay. But people have a problem like admitting that maybe this cat is just a hell of a human being, man. That guy's
They're
fucking.
just a little, they're more disciplined.
That's
That's it.
At the end of the day, and shit. It's that simple.
Trying to be more disciplined as time goes on is the key, which was also why I wanted to get sober too, because yeah, like I've said throughout this hour, it's my head's more clear, you know. I'm able to be more disciplined on the things I needed to in order to be productive. So
Yeah, I mean, and you've got a brother who still dabbles in, and I'm sure that's finding that line of when you need to call it quits with your bro before something bad happens.
yeah, well, oh, you mean my brother or like my homies?
Your brother.
Oh no, he's good. He's one of the most he's such an inspirational person. He's one of the most driven people I know. Like I've never met somebody who's more healthy in terms of the food they eat and how they take care of their body than my brother, you know.
Yeah.
He just likes, you know, throwing some money around, gambling here or there, you know. There are a few people in my life who, like you've stated, like they're the partying thing. Or the not knowing their purpose and stuff like that. And there are people I have in my life who are like that, you know? And like you had stated earlier, like you only want them to succeed and you tell people things like, and people take it personally, right? So there are people that you spend a little less time with as you get older, right? But that just comes with changing, right?
It does. It's sad because ideally you'd all be on the same page mentally and help each other grow. But it's a personal decision.
Yeah, it's a hard cookie to swallow too, because you know they're the homies, right?
Are they really the homies though?
Sheesh.
Are they really the homies though?
Oh no!
Because what they were was really the party homies, the drinking homies, the video game homies, the anime homies, and then you've got your actual homies, who, regardless of interest,
they're your homies. Yeah,
the homies, dog.
Right. That's the ride or die right there,
bro. All I've got right now were like situational homies.
Sheesh.
Homies, this homies, that homies. I've got a couple like homies.
Right.
You know.
Whew. It's tough, man. It's tough coming to those conclusions, though.
It is sad.
Yeah, but you know, finding yourself on the path to your purpose is way more rewarding. You know.
So, what is your purpose, though? Like, or have you nailed one down?
Shit, bruh. I've had a problem, which is the reason why I was dabbling with the tobacco this whole year too, because I have like a weird thing where I want to be like a hero, you know, but nobody's got superpowers, right? The only thing I want to first save myself, and then with that story, I just want to help people live a better life. I don't know if it's going to be, you know, I'm not like a personal trainer. I'm not here to get you shredded for a Marvel movie. You know, I'm not here to teach you how to make $1 million. But what I can offer you is everybody has the capability to make the sacrifices to live a good life. That's all I want to give people, is to tell them that it is possible, you know.
And I would argue that you got to show them.
I know. Yeah. I'm trying. I got a podcast, you know.
You trying.
I'm trying. I got a little bit going, you know. I'm trying to do like public speaking though, too. I want to get out into that realm too.
Dude, I was listening to you at the beginning of this podcast, and that's all I was hearing. I'm like, this motherfucker would be a great public speaker. I thought I was, I just envisioned you talking to like 1,000 people. Like, that's the kind of energy you gave off when the shit first started. Like, oh God. So,
God damn. I appreciate that.
I was like, damn.
I've actually been talking to my dad because he used to be a promoter. My family promoted Christian rock concerts for like 20 years. So he's a hell of a promoter. So my mom and him and I sat down one night and she's like, you should promote your son. And I'm like, yeah, I'm trying to do the public speaking. So we're going to work on like a script. We're going to work on something. I got to start getting out there. I got to do more than just the podcast and write a book, you know?
Would you ever come out to Lansing to speak upon your story about addiction?
Oh, fuck yeah. I'll go anywhere, man.
I think that should be your first one. I've got a friend who's also an ex-addict, and he's a part of this organization, and he speaks publicly, but hearing anyone's story is helpful.
You know,
I mean, I'm down
to do
think about it.
No, I'm down to do some shit like that. I just need to get my foot in the door, and I've actually told my story like 100 times. I mean, now that I think about it, the 2 podcasts that I guest spoke on, they asked me about my story all the time. So,
how long does it take you to tell your story? Just curious.
I mean, I can make it as short or long as possible. That's the thing. I was about to say,
like, you could really make it days. Like,
yeah, I could, man. I mean, I know it's like you want to make it like a half hour or 45 minutes, or sometimes you even want to make it like 15 minutes. That's why. That's the shit that I haven't worked on yet is like I need to come up with a condensed version for shorter performances, and then I need to come up with a longer one for longer ones, you know?
For sure. An adaptive story for any situation, really. Even like a one-liner, like, yo, I hit you with this shit or whatever.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. There's some big gas right here. I'll hit you with 5 minutes of me telling you can chase your dreams because I fucked my life up.
And change a motherfucking life in 5 minutes? Whoa.
5 minutes.
5.
That's big right there.
And you might even got them on the first 30 seconds, and then you're just listening for the rest of like.
They hear me like for 30 seconds. They're like, this guy right here.
I've heard shit like that where I know like instantly like, yeah, yep.
This man knows what he's talking about. Yeah,
that's what I felt when you started talking, and then I'm like, yo, this motherfucker coming on like he's a public speaker and shit like that.
Hey, you know, it's weird because like when I asked my brother to come with me to your show too, I'm like, yo, you want to come to a rap show? He goes, yeah, who we seeing? And I'm like, it's my buddy from college. And then we're in the car like driving somewhere, and I put like Leaves of Memories, the first song on that, and then he's like, and then it finished playing, and he goes, damn, that was lit. Like, yeah, he knows what he's talking about.
Nah, that's cool.
Yeah, I think we listened to the Leaves of Memories album the whole way down to your show too.
See, now you guys know how to set the mood. You know, setting it up.
Oh, of course.
Let's dive into this guy before we go see him live. That's extra love.
And on the way back. Goddamn.
On the way back, it's crazy.
Sheesh.
The post is crazy. Like, see, I'm that type of guy where I like to like dive into the whole thing, make it a thing. Like you guys did. You listened to me before the show and after the show.
Right.
Like, some people are just surface level fans, I guess. No.
I will say that my memory, and this goes for all the rap I've listened to, like my memory is really bad with names of songs. Because I'll literally just play discographies of like artists, and I'll just let the fucking songs go, right?
Sure,
so I can just study like rhymes, cadence, and all that shit. Like I don't really want to get, like, of course there's like, you know, the song I've listened to like a million times by Gangstar, which is like Above the Clouds.
Yeah,
like
I'll name knows that shit, dog.
Right, you know. But like generally speaking, when I like play rap, it's from front to back. And I'm not like looking at the name of the song. I'm just like listening to the vibe of the song, like the story the album's trying to tell, you know?
For sure.
Yeah.
For sure.
Yeah, but after we listened to it, he goes, "Damn, he fucking spit." I'm like, "Hell yeah, you fucking spit."
Yo, that's what's up, man. That's love, man.
But
And
like you were saying though, when you heard me talk, or like when you hear somebody, you're like, "Man, this guy's got it," or like that. Like when we listened to your song, my brother was like, "This guy's fucking got it,"
yeah.
you know.
See, and no one's gonna lie to you. Just. I hope people don't go out of the way to give gas because that's just weird. But me personally, like I'm
No,
not gonna say anything rather than gas you up. So any gas I give is completely warranted. Know that off top.
I mean, I wouldn't just do it to do it. Like, I gas up the homies because I surround myself with people who put in the work, you know? Like, I don't think that we met by, like, chance or anything. I forgot who, like, introduced us to each other.
I think it was, I want to say it was Disco. Was it not Disco?
Who's Disco?
You know, was it not even fucking Yik Yak?
I thought it was Skylar.
Was it Skylar Perkins? You know Skylar?
Yeah.
Yo, okay. Me and Skylar, we continue. Me and Skylar are still friends to this day.
Nice.
That's crazy. That's crazy that it was Skylar. He's a good dude.
Yeah, I remember because we were just talking in the common room, and he goes, "Oh, I'm gonna go upstairs, and we're gonna hang out with some people. Oh, they do music and shit too." And that's when I fucking met you. Yeah, and I'm like, no shit.
Oh, dog. Looking back on shit like that, like I used to be in Skylar's room. He'd have a M audio mic. He was recording on Reaper, and like it was the most dingy motherfucking music shit of all time. But like that was the only way I could like kick it with cats who were in the music.
Right.
Like a fucking mattress for the sound. The treatment was like a mattress.
Right.
Mike was on some janky shit, and I'm just like, this is sick. Back then, today if I walked in there, I'd be like, yo, let's get the fuck out of here. But back then, yo, this is fucking hell, dog.
Now if you see that, you're like, these cats ain't serious, you know? But at the start, you're like, this is seriously happening.
Yo, I was like, this is the dopest shit of all time. And he could play guitar and all that. And I was just like, yo, this shit is sick, dog.
This is gas.
This is dope, dog.
I was taking guitar lessons a little bit this year and last year. I got to start getting back on that too.
Yeah.
It's always nice learning an instrument. It's tough though.
Dude. That's why I got respect for people who mix, master, engineer, produce the entire record. Like dividing your attention to be a master of all trades and being that skillful. Like I personally can't do that. I'm still focusing on being like a master writer. If I took time to produce, I just know I couldn't juggle the two of them. And that's why Kanye West and guys like that are fucking legends. They can do it all.
Bro, it's fucked. Like, I didn't even realize that mixing and at the start, I didn't even realize like mixing and mastering were two different things, and then producing. So I'm like, oh, I'm going to make the beats. And then they're like, well, after you make them, someone's got to mix them to make them sound good. And after you mix them to make them sound good, then somebody masters them to make them sound good. And I'm like, this over my fucking head, dude. I just like putting like samples together with drums and shit, you know?
That's when it becomes, you realize it kind of turns you off a little bit that there's all this shit.
Right.
I just want to make this shit, bro. I don't give a fuck about all that other shit.
Right. And that's why I hired somebody to master those songs that I put out. I'm like, I ain't fucking with this, man.
Of course. I don't fuck with nothing, but I outsource everything but the fucking rhymes.
Right.
I'm not doing nothing else. The only thing I record, but I outsource the mixing.
Right.
So there was a time where I used to pull up to the studio and record there, but then I was like, I'll buy your equipment, record in the comfort of my home, and do 1,000 takes without being pressed about the time.
Right.
Then I'll bring it to your studio. You can mix it. So that's the only shit, you know.
Yeah, it's easier that way though.
For sure, dude.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah, I got a couple. You know, I don't know if I was gonna try and make like, I wasn't gonna try and make like rap, but you know, I still do practice like freestyling and singing and shit, and I do still like write my rhymes, you know, but I'm always rapping to lo-fi and shit, you know, like my shit ain't hype.
I remember the last song you showed me. It was pretty dope. It might have been a year and a half ago. It was dope.
Yeah, that's I tried putting some shit together. I like freestyling more than like writing an actual song though. Like if you put on some like jazzy beats and shit, like I'll just spit. I don't really care about writing.
Dude, this is where I get into like fights because, and this is nothing is, I'm actually not that pressed, but like, I no longer find joy in freestyling, and that's just because of my mission. Uh,
Right.
Like, freestyling is a waste of time for someone who his main intention is to put out a record and
Right.
like, but then I've
I
got a bunch
understand.
of, yeah, but it's hard for my
Yeah.
friends to be under, they think I'm like being like a buzzkill. I'm like, yo, this isn't fun. We could be actually producing a record, putting the shit out, not just like we just did all that and nothing that there's nothing to gain from that except pure
Right.
enjoyment, which I would derive more enjoyment by actually releasing a finished product.
Totally.
But that,
The
yeah,
the only reason I look at freestyling is something, well, I just do it for fun. Like you said, it's for fun. I also like view it as like, well, maybe I'll learn to rhyme things differently just like for no fucking reason, or like a cadence, or like I don't know, like I always feel like even if you do freestyle, you're getting like better at shit without even realizing it. But for somebody who's on an MO like you to like put out the records and shit like that takes way more planning than you just sitting around spitting for 2 hours, you
and
know?
it's not just that. It's I've freestyled. I can even say with a fact more than you have.
Oh,
So
forget God,
it's
yeah, no,
so it's
yeah.
it's it's weird for people to be like, dude, this is fun. Dude, I've freestyled for thousands of hours since I was like 10. This is no
Right,
longer like fun. It was so much fun. I've done it more than you could even imagine.
right.
But then they're like, nah, come on, let's do this shit. And I'm like, bro, I spent an entire nights freestyling with the homies. Nights.
Yeah, yeah,
So it's, it's like KYP, know your personnel. This thing that you derive enjoyment from, you have to understand that it no longer gives me pleasure.
right.
And the only reason is because I've done it that much. You
Yeah.
know?
I
So
no, I feel that. I mean that's kind of how I reached that point with like gloving too, or like using flow art and shit like that. I'm like, dude, I literally walked around with my gloves for years. I still glove under my table sometimes if I'm fidgeting and shit, but
like,
the shit ain't like you said, it ain't like super fun anymore. I'm trying to direct my time towards actually producing like content in terms of like I want to write.
yeah.
Um, so yeah, I understand. It's not if you wanted to just be a fucking freestyler and have someone follow you around with a phone, you'd be what's that guy's name?
Harry Mack. I'll be
Harry
fucked up.
Mack. Yeah, yeah. And he makes a thing out of it.
And
He's dope.
he's dope. But that's
Yeah,
that's all he does. And
right.
that's
That's
cool.
yeah, and that's not you though. You're trying to do something different. That's why.
Exactly. And
I
he's
don't
a
know why though.
good at it.
Bruh, he's fucking crazy. That
Best
shit's
I've ever heard.
nuts.
Best I've ever heard, without a doubt.
You think?
Uh,
Yeah,
in the aspect of freestyle and making shit coherently, yeah, I would never freestyle with Harry Mack in front of people because I know that he's able to draw, take visual cues way better than me. But if we're talking about like put on a beat and see who goes harder, I'll go on CNN and battle Harry Mack on that tip.
Eh.
And not even be scared that I'll come out on top. But he's really
There
good
you
at saying,
go.
yo, that chick in the blue thing and the shit with the red that and like, yo, you got
Yeah,
that.
yeah, he's crazy at that shit for sure.
But I'll just say some random shit on some slick shit. Put on a
Right.
Dilla instrumental. Yeah, and nah, it's a rap without a
So
doubt.
like, so you're saying like the homies like freestyling more than just like going and actually putting in work on the albums and shit, right?
Yeah, it's annoying, but I still do it anyway because I'd be a buzzkill to be like, yo, this is retarded. Actually, I still do that anyway.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, what are you gonna do though? I mean,
I do
sometimes you
that,
got to do sometimes you got to do things you're not like totally fond of, but
but it would be dope if they came over to this side and put a little intention behind it and drop the record. But
Right.
as I do, I jam with them just for the fuck of it. I derive no pleasure, no value comes from it, but I do it because we're homies.
Right.
Come over to this side and drop that record for real.
Didn't you say you're gonna move to? Do you think that you're ever gonna move out of Lansing for your job? And when I say your job or your dream, like rapping,
Yeah, I'm moving out of Lansing in 2025.
There you go. Where are you going?
Yo, I'm actually not even gonna think about it because at that point I'll have a lot of money saved to where I could just be like, yo, I'm out of here.
There you go.
Financially,
Nice.
I'm restricted now to. I'm not a big planner too. I'm playing shit.
Right.
In fact, if you make a plan with me, more than 24 hours in advance, it's not happening. I might have said yes, but it's for sure it's not happening.
Right.
I'm gonna just be like, yeah, fuck it, I'm out.
I feel that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I got a plan for. I think it's gonna be another year. I had already told my mom too that I'm not gonna be staying at the bookkeeping company forever. I already told her that I'm gonna be a full-time writer, host, and podcast host and public speaker. So she already knows this going into it, because technically I run the business with her. Yeah, I just told her it's probably gonna be a year or two, and then I'm gone. So
you're in my position now. I used to use it as a crutch, like, yo, I don't want to leave my mom stranded and single-handed running this shit. We know they got it, but we also know that you're doing the majority of the work and that it will be more difficult without you around.
But they would rather see us chase our dreams, though.
Sure. For sure.
Yeah. And
I used to use it as a crutch, though. Like, I can't leave.
Right. I mean, and I was more worried because I got student loans and I got bills and shit, and I'm like, it's not a bad job, and it's with my mom, I love her to death and shit. And like you said, kind of use it as a crutch, but there's only so much. Yeah, it's comfortable, but I've reached a point now, just like you said, 2025 is your year, wherever you're gonna fucking do it, and I already know that I'm gonna dip out and chase this dream. So right now, I just need to get a little nest egg to sit under before I do some shit like that,
Same. What's funny is that technically you can do whatever you want to do anywhere, but location is actually everything. The people you meet, the feng shui of the fucking air you breathe, like,
it's everything. Yeah. So we'll actually be moving further from the city. So I don't know if we're gonna live in Illinois anymore. I need like more nature to be. It's like where my creativity is. I derive a lot of it from nature, peace, and quiet and stuff. If I'm gonna like write, I don't mind going.
Camper and a hiker.
I do, yeah. We like camping and hiking, yeah.
Y'all some campers and hikers up in
there. Yeah, boy.
You a fisher?
Not anymore. My dad hates the fact that I don't like fishing anymore.
Ooh, how the fuck you stop liking fishing, dog?
Bro, dude, my dad and my uncle go hard. They'll be out on the boat for like 10 hours. I'm like, you gotta take me in.
Yo, I can't do this, bro.
I'm done, dude. Don't take me, please.
Yeah. But that doesn't mean you dislike fishing. Maybe with them because you're out there all day. You can fish for 3 hours.
Yeah, I mean, like when we went up for the 4th of July, I fished for like 2 hours. Like I don't mind catching fish. It's just like sometimes there's some other shit I could be doing.
Yo. And that is actually the craziest thing about life. You got your I live and die for fishing. And then you live and die for like any interest. And then you could build a whole friend group around that'll make the point of cutting off people. Not with ill will, but just like, yo, you're too into that thing that I'm not into. I'm into this over here.
Right.
Actually, you will just like not associate anymore.
Right.
Like, that's just
wow. Yeah, I still got some homies like that are like that I obviously still like, check up on every once in a while. But like you said, like sometimes you just go like that,
You got writer friends that you've become mad close with now that you're an author?
Nah, bro.
Damn, bro.
I got a few podcast friends that I hit on Instagram and shit.
All right, word. 'Cause
yeah.
So you don't feel lonely, like not having a bouncing board? with people in the industry?
No. I bounce ideas off of Lisa. I bounce ideas off of my brother.
Yeah.
I bounce ideas off of everybody in my life,
Yeah.
regardless if they're a writer or not. But because
You're
they know.
than me.
I mean, I just
they know, but
right.
The creator knows deep down.
I mean, it's different with rap though. You're like, if you rap's a little different because you're like, let me bounce these bars off of you, and you don't understand rap at all. They'll just be like, yeah, that sounded really nice, but they don't know what to say to that, with when I'm writing philosophy or like anything self-help, like, and I try and bounce an idea off of someone in my life, they'll actually, because I'm trying to write something that's like a little like, it's philosophy or self-help. It's like kind of relevant, if you're trying to bounce off like rhymes and raps and shit off of people that don't understand it, like I understand where you're.
I actually started doing that though, for the reason that you think it's different is the common consumer is who obviously that's the attention I want.
Right.
So if the layperson doesn't like what the fuck I'm saying, there has to be a reason for it.
Right.
That doesn't mean that it isn't technically dope what I'm doing, but they're like, you know what? That just isn't aesthetically or sonically
pleasing. Right. And yeah.
I just recently started taking that into consideration. Because like I want something that's like, yo, everyone thinks that's sick. Even the ill rhyme writers. So once you got the AOK from Method Man and you got the AOK from Joe Schmo Pre-Med, now you've got just universal, right?
That's Yeah, I didn't think about it. Well, I did think about it that way, but you just said the reason why you think it would have been different. So did you just start doing this like recently then?
Yeah, like producers, I'll be like, yo, if anywhere in the bar it sounds off, and this is someone who's never written a rhyme,
right?
I'll be like, all right, and then after I'll be like, you know what, they're right. I could take out a couple syllables there and it flow better. Before I'd be like, oh, my way or the highway. I'm like, nah, bro, let's, you know what I mean?
Yeah, that's not how you like grow though, or like, art's got to change with you, and yeah, if you're too strict about some shit, then it's like you said, it's not going to be pleasing to everybody. I'm not trying to write something that's only for a select few of really highbrow, like, nose in the air, fucking snooty patootie people, right?
I kind of still am.
I was a little bit, especially when you're writing philosophy, because it's like, I'm going to write some fucking super intelligent dope shit,
What's wrong with that, though, to seek the validation of those on the upper echelon. Nothing wrong with that.
There's nothing wrong with it, but it's also like I'm trying to help more people than that.
So I'm
sometimes
you could argue,
not all,
like, not pure. You're like doing it philosophy in itself a disservice by like dumbing it down.
Well, so if I was just gonna write a straight fucking philosophy book, then I wouldn't give a shit, But if you're right, so here's the problem. I actually like mix my philosophy with my self-help all the time. Like the book I wrote is supposed to be a motivational self-help philosophy book, But I've had family members and other people say, it was a little difficult to read at some points. And I'm like, I get it. Sometimes I get a little archaic or subjective, In
what way was it difficult to read? Because I didn't find it difficult to read.
Well, they're
interesting though, because that's another story.
Sometimes it gets a little, you rap, you write. I get a little poetic sometimes. I use word. Yeah, yeah. So that's not everybody can read shit like that. That's all right. I put the book out for me, really. So
always.
Yeah. Right.
Always.
So,
I think that. Oh, go ahead.
I was gonna say, like, dumbing it down. Like, I wouldn't consider it dumbing it down for a self-help book or something, because you are trying to appeal to a wider audience, right? But if, like I said, if I'm gonna write some fucking shit for the upper echelon of philosophy, like, I'm gonna make it pretty difficult then,
I do see what you're saying. Like, you set out the purpose of what you're trying to write, and if your goal is to be peer edited by like Socrates, it's not to help. It's to be like you know,
profound.
yeah,
Or
you want to help
deep.
make it accessible, digestible.
Right.
No doubt. No
Yeah.
doubt.
It's just a different method and stuff,
That is why I like I'm a big fan of Charles Bukowski, right? Because
Oh yeah.
he can write just like without all that extra shit, but it's still profound. It's still like, yo.
I see a lot of his quotes and stuff. Does he have like a book out?
I think he's dead, but I've got all his books back there.
Right. I was gonna say, what would you recommend for somebody to read for their first Charles Bukowski book?
I like the Post Office. You can't go wrong anywhere really.
For
Dude,
sure.
his writing is basically your life. Overindulgence and just like having a good old time while trying to be a dope writer. All this shit is literally his life, but like told in like an ill ass story format. So
All
you can
right.
relate, no doubt.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, like some of that shit comes up on the algorithm for my Instagram, like his quotes and stuff. So I just haven't like dove into him,
Yeah,
Yeah.
and he's from Detroit, dude.
From the D.
Or no, that's I'm thinking of Elmore Leonard.
Ah.
Charles, I don't know where Charles is from, but yeah, he's dope. Yeah. All right. Damn, I know I've gone way past your typical.
Nah, bro. It was more than just catching up. It was a good conversation, honestly.
Yeah.
Yeah. I would, yeah, honestly, like, I'm always down to like do more of these, if you're ever willing to. I always have recurring guests on my podcast, obviously,
Like that.
Yeah. Yeah, I gotta go cook for Lisa right now. So
Word.
I
No doubt, man.
I might have to dip out.
Yo,
for
what
sure.
the fuck camera are you using to record this? Because I need that. Is it a attachable joint?
Bruh, no, this is my phone. Yeah. So it's and the guy who I did my first guest speaking with his podcast who got me on his joint, I asked him the same fucking question because I was using a webcam and he goes, I'm just using my phone. I'm like, get the fuck out of here, right?
That makes sense.
So there's there's an app called Camo, Camo. It's an app for your phone and on your computer. Hook it up with a cord. Bada bing, bada boom. There you go.
So, but I could have downloaded that Riverside on my phone and still done it through that, though. Right?
Yeah, you could have did that too.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm over here 720p. You're in fucking 8K. But
yeah,
cool.
That's nice. I think it records in 720 because I don't choose the 4K setting because it gets a little laggy then,
Yeah.
But at least it looks good,
For sure.
Yeah.
No doubt, man. Yo, it was a good time, man. I hope we make a good dinner.
Hey, appreciate it. I think I'm gonna cook some steak tonight. So,
Nice.
yeah, appreciate you coming on, having a good ass conversation. Honestly, next time you tour, me and my brother are gonna be there for you. You already know what's good.
Throwing again in spring, baby. March and
Hey,
April.
let's
Yeah.
fucking go, man. Hell
Mhm.
yeah. And yeah, just give me a heads up whenever you come back into the Shy. I'll try and make some. I'll try and make a move to come out. We can shoot some pool because I do that shit.
Appreciate it, man. And I like how we didn't miss a beat, picked up like it was old days, just like that.
I mean, we talked a lot. We talked a lot about some homies do this and that, or things change over time, man. But like you said, we're still homies. I still consider you a good friend. I'm always checking up on you, man. I always want to see you good people succeed. That's the thing.
Likewise.
Hey,
Likewise.
hell yeah, brother.
All right.
Yeah.
All right, you be smooth, man. I'll soon, no doubt.
Yeah, for sure. Have a good rest of your night, man.
All
Peace
right,
out.
Peace.